Tonight, Dan and Zod are here to answer your questions about Christianity and apologetics, and maybe respond to a few clips if people send them. So ask away because we are up for anything. This is Zadanza.
Greetings, salutations, welcome. It's Thursday night, baby. 9 p.m. Central Time. I'm Objectively Dan. That's Prophet Azad. This is Zadan's the cool show that's happening all the time. Zod told me right before we started going live, he was like, "Oh, the audio on the intro is not that good." And folks, it was perfect. Okay,
It was?
It was absolutely perfect. Let me tell you about Zod. Real quick. Zod is a hard-working guy. Every single thumbnail you see on this channel, that's all this guy right here, baby. He does a lot of work for this, and it makes me feel like a real piece of work sometimes, because we were not super. We had a thing for this week originally. We had a different plan, but we both kind of felt like we weren't ready. Weren't fully loaded for this week's plan, so we changed course last minute. We're gonna change it up this week. We're responding to you guys today. We want to see your questions in the chat, and also if you got a cool video or something funny for us to react to, we want to look at that too. Otherwise, we got some stuff that has been sent to us in the past that we want to cover, and that's what we're doing tonight. It's supposed to be a chill night. It's supposed to be a little kumbaya. You know, a little bit of just hanging out by the campfire, right, Zod?
Yeah, I would say the best way to describe the way I see this night going, is chill, but also just an awesome show.
Mm-hmm.
I think if anybody can combine those two things, it's the all-star team of Zod and Dan.
That's right. That's
what people come here for, right?
That's what they come for. It's a Danza. It's not Tom Danza. It's not Steve Danza or Zod Steveza or even Zod Tomza. I don't know who Steve and Tom are. Point is, they're not here. It's just us, baby. So, you know, give us what you got. We want to see what you guys are watching, what you think would be interesting for us to react to, and just pump it in the chat. And let's see. We'll just go with it.
Yeah. Oh, here's an idea. Brad Steinza.
I do want to get on Brad Stein's podcast. I just want to see if I can have it, because maybe there's either two things. He either is the guy that Googles his name every day, or he never looks up anything ever, and he never knows that we just did the nastiest takedown stream ever, and it would be so funny if you let me on as a guest. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, it would be awesome. That guy's a freak. Like, I looked at his daily dose of Brad, and he's trying to raise an army. Like, he seems like a villain from The Boys or something.
Maybe we can look at some of those, because those are really funny. At least the one you sent me was really funny.
Sorry everybody. A couple housekeeping things. First off, I apologize. I think we need to turn off monetization for the live portion of this, so let me jump on that. Also, I'm sorry, Dan, I didn't run this by you before bringing it up. I hope it's okay. If our audio sounds way off, which that's one thing we've been struggling with, feel free to say in the chat if one of us sounds way louder than the other one, and I can adjust that on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that we don't have drama and Dan, kicks me off the show for saying that without consulting him, but let us know.
Who do you think I am, Zod? What?
Oh, you guys don't see him behind the scenes.
Oh yeah. I rage. I'm a super control freak.
No, he's really not. I try to be very careful not to throw things out in the public without talking to him. I didn't think that'd be a big deal though. He's not like that. I'm just
no.
But sorry, I'm shutting off the monetization here now that I'm not distracted. Also, last week I said something that Dan, like, kind of playfully called me out on, which is I called some dude a rando Catholic, which I don't feel super bad for. But interestingly, I'm just browsing around listening to Christians on the internet. Uh, I see him hosting a call-in show with Cameron Bertuzzi of Capturing Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
So for better or worse, whatever that makes you think about him, I guess he's not just a rando Catholic. So sorry, whatever. I
Oh
forgot
yeah,
his name
well
was.
only the most prestigious guests on Cameron Bertuzzi's, call-in show, right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about call-in shows, Zod. I've let invited a lot of people on my call-in show, and have hosted with other people on the show, and they have since started call-in shows. I can tell you there's several people, on a first-hand basis, I can tell you, start a call-in show because they've been on one that I've been on, and they're like, "Hey, I can do this." Cameron Bertuzzi's not one of those people. I think he probably watches shows like Atheist Experience or something, and I don't know, maybe he does it too, because I don't know any. What's the popular Christian call-in show? Right? I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't know
know
if
that
there's
there
a
is one. I tried watching Cameron's, and that was just the most boring freaking thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It's just guys sitting there carrying on about uh what is it, near death experiences, and just babbling forever about
Yeah.
how there's, and then he kept telling everybody that he's $4,000 in the hole and they need to raise money so that he won't be coming up $4,000 short
What?
every. Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
what? What is this? Cameron
uh,
Bertuzzi is $4,000 in the hole and he's telling people this online?
oh yeah, it's like a telethon, beg people for money. uh
Oh. Oh.
so he keeps saying, we're operating, we have a few months of money in the bank, but we're running $4,000 in short every month on this channel.
What?
I just want to assure you all, Zadanza is not running $4,000 behind a month,
No.
because we're not forking idiots who rack up $4,000. I can't imagine how you come up with $4,000 a month in expenses running a YouTube channel, unless those expenses include paying yourself very generously, which might
Yeah, what?
be what we're talking about.
I'm so like, okay, I've got some fairly nice equipment and stuff. And that's from years and years of doing this. And but Cameron's been doing YouTube for a while too. So like, why would he? What possible expense? Colin Studio does not cost $4,000 a month to use. What possible expenses could it be to do a YouTube call-in show? What?
Yeah.
That's
And
crazy.
I'm just gonna stir the pot here and be a total shit about this, because
We're really just talking shit tonight. But all this is
yeah,
public information, obviously, because you know it. So yeah.
yeah, I didn't get this from behind the scenes. I just tuned
Yeah.
into a show,
Yeah.
which was, again, hideously boring. I thought it can't be so bad. I can't just sit there and listen to it on the background while I'm working. And yeah, it was that boring. But uh,
Yeah.
along with that, he said that one reason he needs donations is because he doesn't get many views. The reason he said he doesn't get a lot of views is because they just go too far in depth on his show.
Yeah. It's almost as if it's not that easy running a call-in show and making it interesting and making it cool and fun. It's almost as if it takes a little bit more effort. Hmm.
Yeah.
Who would have
It's
thought?
almost as if he's a typical Christian who draws a lot of support in terms of subscribers and donations, and nobody watches him because he's boring. And he has,
Ooh.
like,
Damn. Call out. Call out over here. Dude, hey, let's gas Zod up tonight, folks. Let's make him stir that tea. I love seeing a little zesty Zod. You know what I'm saying? Like a little fiery, a little spicy Zod. That's my favorite Zod, is the spicy Zod.
Speaking of spicy, would you guys ever watch a Brad Stein Kevin Sorbo collab? Let There Be Light 2, perhaps.
Wait, is that real? They collabed?
I think they're suggesting that would be a fun idea.
Ugh, Kevin Sorbo though. Ugh, what a gross human being as well though. But gross. Uh, hmm. Who's the worst person? Brad Stein or Kevin Sorbo? Now that's an interesting question. Hmm. I don't know. They're both pretty shitty.
Yeah. The funny
Um,
thing is when Brad Stein walks around doing his, vertical video walk and talk, raise up an army thing, he reminds me a little bit of Kevin Sorbo.
they're coming from that same energy of angry old white guy that like
Yeah.
definitely didn't get the vaccine. Actually, I know this because Kevin Sorbo like was on Twitter about it, I think. Just like they're in that era. They're in that
Yeah.
phase of their lives. Craig Schumacher is saying, I fell down a wiki rabbit hole today about Mary's Assumption. If you guys have any opinions on the ridiculousness of that story, here's the thing. Here's what's going to get our attention, folks in the chat. If you start posting links for us to look at, whether it's articles or videos or stuff, we want to see what you can bring to the table for us to kind of react to. I think that's kind of the idea, and we're going to be more likely to pick up on that. But anyway, I think you're about to say something, Zod.
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh,
Do you
sorry.
want to start looking at some stuff that people sent us? We
Yeah,
did get
yeah,
one
yeah.
video.
We should
We did get
definitely
one
do that.
video.
We should definitely do that. And listen. I'm very serious, guys. I love the collaboration that Zod and I have. I love the energy that we've developed. We've really put work into this show, and Zod especially has done a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And I just want to give again just a huge shout out to Zod and everything that he does, because every week we're putting stuff out here, and this week we're finally making it. It's just low key. It's just low key, and we could look and say, damn, our show. You know what? It's not that bad. You know, maybe better than
Yes.
Cameron Bertuzzi's show. And you know what? That's a low bar, but we climbed it. We're over it. You know what I'm saying?
One of my favorite metrics of how your channel's doing is your ratio of views compared to your subscribers.
Yeah.
And I know that's not a very good complete metric because you should be trying to grow your subscriber base. But we're currently getting close to twice as many views as we have subscribers. And I'd say that's a sign that you have a pretty darn healthy channel.
Hell yeah.
I mean, we could stand to grow our subscriber base. So if you're out there and you haven't subscribed, I will
You should
I will make like a
subscribe.
preacher and tell you, if you are watching this show without subscribing, you are stealing basically.
I think that there's a lot of people that try to do the live stream format and do other kinds of content, and they kind of give up on it, or they try it but like it's not super great. I think we've made something really good here, and I'm very happy with what we've accomplished so far. So thanks to everybody especially everybody who's donated and stuff in the past, including tonight. Everybody is awesome for that. But Zod, I'm ready for some links, ready for some vids, ready for some
Yeah,
content.
you might not have noticed, but I may have overstepped just slightly saying that we're prepared to destroy every argument for God with destroy in all caps.
Yeah.
So I think we need to quit kumbayaing around the fire and get down to a little bit of business here so we live up to our title.
All
Otherwise, we
right.
might get sued for clickbait.
Okay, let's get down to business.
I want to start with, you're all equal and we all love you, but I do want to start with Miranda, who sent us a message by Patreon, because I do want to show a little bit of deference to the people who did that. And she has kind of a long one. This isn't exactly, I'm going to sum up some of it. It's not exactly apologetics, but it is related to Christians, how you respond to them, which I think is a big part of what we're about. Miranda says, my dad has been in the hospital lately. He's doing better thanks to medical science. He lives in the Bible Belt, so several staff members have felt totally comfortable saying things like, God bless you, or Jesus knows best. One person this afternoon went really in depth into their religious views. My parents are pretty religious, so they seem to be okay with it, and I wasn't about to stir anything up. How would you respond to this kind of thing if it were you or someone else you know? Sorry, if it were you or someone else who you know isn't religious? You don't want to offend the people taking care of you, but you also shouldn't have to listen to that kind of stuff when you're sick. At the hospital I work at, that kind of talk from staff isn't allowed, but that's a very different part of the country.
Yeah.
Dan, what are your first thoughts?
I used to be a guy of deference. I used to be a guy who, you know, live and let live in a lot of these kinds of situations. And that doesn't mean that that's not valid. But as I've gotten older, and more independent in life, and more just developed in myself as a human being, I realize how fucked up it is when people do that stuff. Like you should stand your ground. You should not let somebody walk all over you when it comes to expressing points of view that you think are wrong, or at least like aren't what you believe, right? Like, hey, they're sharing what they believe. You have a right to share what you believe, period, or don't believe, right? So, yeah, it may seem rude, it may seem callous, but I think it's okay at the end of the day because, yeah, they're gonna tell you what they think regardless, right? They don't obviously don't care about what you think, or they wouldn't say stuff about like that. So if they don't care, why not just put it out there? And the best thing about it is, even if you think you may come off as rude or maybe like a social taboo, if they remember that, that might be a good pebble in people's shoes, right? That, oh, hey, there's other people out here that don't think the same way. But anyway, that's kind of my take. What do you think, Zod?
Yeah, I've generally tended toward deference too, and I think I do a little bit. A lot depends simply on how persistent it's being. Like in most cases, if someone said, "Oh, Jesus bless you," or something like that, uh, made some casual comment, I think I would just let it roll off my back. If it were really persistent and someone were sitting there going into depth about it, I would have a little more trouble with that.
Yeah.
In most cases, if you don't have any stake in the conversation or in the relationship with that person, I don't think there's a lot of value in arguing about it. The person probably means well and has a poorly established or poorly understood set of boundaries. Uh, and I think that's worth calling somebody out on. I think it's just really complicated, though, when that's appropriate, or more than when it's appropriate, when that's really going to be beneficial to you. So, really, I think this is about self care. Like, how much does that bother you? How much are you going to get out of calling people out on it? And that's, I think, a very complicated and personal decision. Um, I, I don't know if you really want to stir the pot with people who are controlling what goes into your IV while you're laying in a hospital bed. I don't think they would get like that, of course, but it would feel awkward to me to be in that kind of vulnerable position and start arguing with people over, saying things about Jesus to me. And if, depending on the community you're in, if you're in the South, that could get hairy for you. So
But first of all, I 100% agree with everything you just said. But to add on to that, though, I think a perspective might be, yeah, maybe you don't want to get into an entanglement with them, but that's on them. And you can show them a lesson in that moment, saying, "Hey,
yeah,
the stuff that you're saying isn't appropriate," because you're not the first person they say that kind of thing to, right? It's not like you know, it's a one-off. Usually, people who have those kinds of sentiments are probably saying it to other people too. So maybe you can at least show them, hey, maybe this isn't a good way to talk about this with other people, especially in a healthcare environment. Like that's ridiculous,
yeah.
you know?
I think it is. I have I have very strong feelings about this, and that I think it is very audacious how much Christians feel like they're entitled to just blurt out whatever they want. And in general, it seems like a lot of social circles in our culture find that acceptable. And I find that very appalling because it's very intrusive and very entitled.
Yeah.
Um, my son used to work at a retail job, and people would just feel very comfortable asking where he goes to church and Jesus bless you and stuff like this, and basically pushing him for things over the counter. Um, and if I went up and started talking like that as an atheist, saying whatever the atheist equivalent of that would be, I don't think it would go over very well, and I would get called out on it very fast, I think. And I find that very irritating. Like on social media, within my Facebooky social media and my personal life, I still have mostly Christians from my past and everything. You can say bless Jesus this and pass around rumors about whatever Christian wise, but the minute you say anything about questioning it, even in the slightest, like
Yeah.
even to the extent of, oh, I don't feel like this story really represents atheists well, people get like viscerally angry about you. And
Yeah.
so I went on a little bit of tangent there, but I feel like we're all dealing with this double standard and
Yeah.
it feels stifling. I feel like I kind of have my head about myself with this kind of stuff. I'm older. I don't have as much at stake as far as pressure in my family and everything, but it still feels stifling for me on social media and a little bit irritating how much people can say, just go off like crazy. And one little peep for me, everybody acts like I just shat on the living room floor.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
And so I feel that side of it, but on the other side, I feel this certain weariness about what point is there in saying anything sometimes. And it's a tough balancing act to walk. I would like people to stand up for themselves. And if you feel safe doing it, set an example for whoever's going to come next. Like Dan said, that you're probably not the first person they said that to. So there is a place for that. But on the other hand, I wouldn't want to put young people, especially in a position where if you're living in a community where you're a little bit vulnerable and people in socially all around you are going to act a way toward you, you have
Yeah.
to take a little care of yourself too.
Yeah. Pick your battles for sure. I'm not saying start fights in the street. But I am saying if you want to, you absolutely can.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, when it comes to strangers who you're never going to see again, yeah, that's absolutely when you should make a point. It comes a little bit more complicated when it's people you see every day, right? So
Yeah.
do with that as you will.
You
But
know, a lot of this too is in what you say in that moment. Like
mhm.
if somebody started saying stuff like that, you don't have to like snap at them or anything or say anything really argumentative. You can just
No,
say,
be firm.
I'm not very religious. This isn't a
Stand your
topic that's really
ground.
interesting to me. You
Yeah.
can just, the person might just back down if you just say something polite like, thank you, but that's not really I'm not really into religious stuff or whatever. Whatever you feel like would be appropriate in the situation.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, well said, Todd. Well said. We got some
Oops.
super chats. I love
Oh,
how we
I
both.
wanted to get to the super chats, but we just
Oh,
had something directly about this. Shiver said, I worked on the bedside of patient care for 14 years. If you don't feel comfortable with the care, you can always talk to the charge nurse and request a new nurse. So
yeah,
that is an option too.
that's a good point.
Send them off
Thanks
to
for
another
that.
room to say God bless you to someone who would like to hear it.
Exactly. How dare you say God bless me after I sneezed? Get out. I want a new nurse.
Yeah, don't be a
Sir,
character from a Christian movie
I,
about atheists.
sir, I got the IV in you right now. I'm no, I don't care. Pull it out.
I feel like that water has been blessed in my presence. Get it out of me.
Did you bless this water? Get out. Nitty coming in with the $10 saying this may be a Zod thing to say, but I'm objectively watching the best show right now, which
Well,
is
thank you.
a good combination of both of our namesakes. Good job, Nitty.
Exactly.
Good
See
job.
what you did there. And
Yeah,
also thank you very much
thank
for
you.
the donation and the compliment.
Yeah, and another one from Zach. What's up, Zinners? I just ran 7.4 miles today, which is a quarter of a half marathon. I think so, like a quarter marathon. That's pretty good. Good
Nice.
job, Zach. I would brag
I
about that
haven't
too.
done that in many a year.
I used to run. You used to run too. We talked
Yeah,
about this.
I used to run all over the place.
I used to do 10Ks and stuff. I started running when I was in college, and I got my dad into it. Um, and my dad runs more than me now. My dad does 5Ks and 10Ks like every weekend. It's ridiculous. And he's got one of those bodies where he just doesn't look like it. He doesn't look like he could run at all, but he could totally just go out there and do it. So,
I'm sure he appreciates you saying
he knows I'll say that stuff like that. So it's all good.
that. I haven't run that much. I go to the gym and do an elliptical and stuff like that. Try not to bang my knees up too much at my age. But on Sunday, I actually took a walk, I think 3 miles out to a river that's behind my house. They have a nature center out there, and it was a really nice walk. I went out to something called Echo Bend. If you want to look it up, it's pretty cool.
Echo
Uh,
Bend. I
Yeah.
assume you, when you go out on your walks, is when you hunt for bears and like collect your skins for all of your coats and stuff.
No, I carry a firearm with me in case I run into one, but I'm not like looking for one. I wear a bell too, just to make sure that that they'll usually keep them away from you.
Look at this
It is
guy.
pretty deep into bear country where I was walking.
Red Dead Redemption NPC over here, just walking around in bear country with a gun.
You carry a gun just in case it comes to it, but really,
He's ready to go.
you're hoping to keep the bears away from you and keep your eyes on the tree line before, not the tree line, but
Yeah.
the horizon.
Zod's looking for a militia to join. That's what he's about.
I'm not sure that I'm the type of people that militia guys want to hang out with.
I'm just joking, but I know. Can you imagine? That'd be hilarious. If you told me one day, yeah, I joined a militia, I would roast you so hard. I would never let that go. I'm sorry. That'd be the funniest thing ever. But yes, I'm glad you're not part of that. Maybe I should tell the story about when I was part of a Civil War reenactment thing when I was a kid. But I don't know. Before we do anything else, we should shout out Miranda Rensberger, gave $6.66, saying, "Thanks, guys. I appreciate the nuanced thoughts in response to the comment she left earlier." So yeah, thank you, Miranda. It's very nice of you. Look at that.
Yeah, thank you.
What a pretty place.
Yeah, this is Echo Bend. That's where I walked out to. It's really nice. That's Eagle River. It's a glacial fed river that actually runs right near our house.
Nice. Did I show you what I don't think I did. Did I show you what I worked on last weekend?
No.
Okay, this is pretty cool. I should say my fiance's father did a lot of work and my fiance did a lot of work on this. But I'm getting it here. It's gonna take me a second, so bear with me. You have to
No
stall.
worries. While you're doing that, I'm going to try to find another question about Jesus.
Okay. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna message you on Messenger and then I'm gonna pull the picture in. That's the
Okay.
best way to do this.
Yeah, I messaged myself on Messenger. That's how I got that. That's
Yeah.
how I transfer pictures
Yep.
between my phone and my computer.
It's really convenient to do things that way sometimes.
Let's do a lighthearted one.
Okay.
Jason Techlord asked, "Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near?" I don't think that's an apologetic question. But actually, on my walk, I saw a spruce hen. It was just standing in the road, and then it ran off. So that bird appeared when I was near, but generally, I don't think as a rule it happens.
Why does the bird appear when you're near? I feel like that's a reference to some Star Trek thing. Knowing Jason, it's probably a Star Trek thing. So, okay.
Isn't that a song?
I got this. Okay, so check this out. It's really cool.
Vote in the chat whether Dan's thing or mine is cooler once you see his.
All right, so this is my fiance's Pokemon card collection.
Holy buckets.
We did 151 of the original Pokemon. That last row, we're going to add some more Yu-Gi-Oh cards and stuff. But she spent weeks wanting to get the perfect layout. We had to order an acrylic thing. Her dad had to drill holes in the acrylic. And then we had to, like, in between, like, 2 acrylic layers, and we, like, put it on the wall. It took, like, all weekend to get this bad boy up. So when I told Zod last weekend I was going to be busy, it's mostly because we were working on this. Also because our parents were in town, so there was that. But, yep. Got them Pokemon cards, baby. I'm living the 90s kid dream right now.
Nice.
So, yeah, very fun. Isn't it cool?
Yeah, I think you win the coolness contest for what you did this weekend. My senior is pretty cool, but that's amazing.
Yeah, I should I have better pictures, I think, without the glare and stuff. But yeah, that is it's a lot of cards. That's all my fiance's collection. So shout outs to her for being cool.
All right, let's here's another thing. Criminosaurus. I probably pronounced that wrong. I don't know if there is a right pronunciation for that username. Had a thought today. I don't know if you guys have specifically addressed yet about the apologetics behind Jesus' temptation in the desert and how, even though he was never in the exact situation as you, he was tempted the same way. So that's why he's perfect and you're not, or something like that. So have you heard any equivalent to this?
Yeah. I mean, I guess this is more of a counter apologetic than an apologetic. I don't know what the apologetic here is, right? What's the apologetic?
I don't know. I don't know that this is an apologetic as in an argument for God,
Yeah.
but I think it's meant to be an explanation of Jesus and why he was maybe why he went through those temptations, or maybe something along the line of Jesus has been through everything that humans have been through, and so he can relate to us, or he can properly be a sacrifice
Yeah.
for us.
We've all been tempted by the devil in the desert for some food. It's a very relatable experience. First of all, let's talk about the fact that supposedly this is a first-hand gospel account. Who was with Jesus telling the story in the desert? If this is a first-hand account, how did that happen? Did Jesus tell this story later? It was like, yeah, guys, I was totally in the desert by myself, and then Satan came up to me and offered me the world, and I said no. It was almost like a Trump impression there.
Yeah, that sounded a ton like a Trump impression.
They tried to get me for crimes I didn't commit. I didn't do them. I did everything right, and they arrested me. No,
You're pretty good at that, I have to say.
Thanks. We've had a couple of years to, cultivate that, that Trump impression.
But I don't think, even setting aside that's a whole other can of worms.
Mm-hmm.
I don't totally have my head around what this is exactly trying to mean, but I can relate it to a few things I heard growing up as a Christian, which is that Jesus had to go through what we went through for whatever various. I think that's just trying to weave some kind of sense out of the story, and it doesn't even really go anywhere that specific logically in my mind. I don't see why it was necessary. If you think God's omniscient, I don't see how Jesus could gain any insight by becoming a human. So I don't see any value there. I don't see how he could be more of a sacrifice because he goes through what we went through. So I don't know. I feel like this is just kind of vapid Christians trying to build meaning out of nothing. And I don't know, they're trying to come up with something that sounds intuitive, and in this case, it doesn't even really get you anywhere. That's the way I think about that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I have anything else to add. I think we pretty much said it. So
Here, you want to nail a couple super chats real quick?
Oh yeah.
They're coming in pretty hot. Thank you, everybody.
You get the next couple. I've been doing the last ones.
Okay. I've lost my place. We got rid of the little tab. Okay, I think we're on Zach.
Yep.
God is real because God said so. Checkmate, atheists. Dan, do you have a rebuttal? Can you handle this one?
No, I think he wins. I think Zach wins.
Shoot.
I think
I was wrong when I said we can.
I did everything right. And they indicted me.
Yeah, when I said that we could destroy any arguments for God, I did not see that one coming.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
We're done. Stream's over. Thanks, everybody.
Zidane's is going to get sued for
libel, sued for lying.
Super duper. If the Christian God existed, would you worship him? If not, do you think that choice would be rational?
So I guess, is this a universe where only the Christian God exists, and the whole, because that's debatable whether the Bible even supports just the one God. But let's say we are talking about the one God, and there's Jesus and there's Satan or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if it'd be a good thing to do. It also, because that gets weird too, because does that mean God? There's still questions unanswered. Is morality outside of God, or is it just whatever God says? That's going to answer a lot of questions of whether things are good or bad. Either way, it seems like we can make our own decisions there. And I would say um, being forced to worship a god is just as bad as blindly following one anyway. So no, I don't think I would if I had a choice. But I don't know. What do you think, Zod?
So I think worship is a weird state of mind to begin with.
Yeah.
And I don't think that could properly describe any posture I could see myself sincerely taking toward another being. I wouldn't mean that to be disrespectful toward that being. If it were a god who were like really good and all this stuff, I okay, I don't think the God of the Bible is really that good. A lot of the things it does would be horrific. But even in the case that a God were like a purely transcendent being who loved us and was awesome and all that stuff, I think I would admire that being. I would develop a certain loyalty and appreciation to them. But I don't, maybe that would add up to worship. But even then, I think that's just a weird state of mind that has less to do with even the hypothetical nature of any being and more
Yeah.
toward the state of mind you get yourself into as a religious person. So I think the logic of a lot of things related to if God existed, would you do XYZ? It kind of falls apart because there's a fundamental mindset that's just even the nature of what a God is. A being could be transcendent, perfect, whatever, but whether you call that God has more to do with cultural predispositions than the nature of any being. So there's that whole thing.
Yeah.
But for God itself, I don't think that being as described in the Bible deserves anything approaching worship.
Hmm.
However, I have to say, if I could get, and this might be a controversial thing, some people do the whole, I would just give God the middle finger all the way down to hell. I would do what I needed to do to not go to hell. And I think, aside from throw somebody else under the bus, because I don't think you gain anything by being a hero in that situation. You're not
Yeah.
putting up a resistance. You're not saving other people. I would say tell God what you need to tell him to get to heaven, and you all try to do the same.
Yeah, it depends. Like, is my understanding of God absolutely wrong, and I've just had it all wrong, and He's actually really chill? Well then, yeah, maybe that's different. But if we're just talking about, yeah, my current understanding of Christian theology, and hell is not just like a separation from God, but rather an eternal torment, or just a sulfur lake. I don't know. It's always inconsistent. Then, like, yeah, I think I'd agree with you. Maybe I do what I would need to do to like continue consciousness, but like I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns in that scenario that make it hard to say either way, I'd say.
Yeah. I have my dignity and my principles, but I just really would not care to burn for eternity.
Yeah.
And I'm not helping anybody if I would. So
Yeah.
uh let's see. I
I
want to just pick I sorry, I just saw a random one.
yeah, I saw a good
Okay,
one
I'm not
too. We'll do one
Ray, I'm
after.
not calling you random, but I mean I'm not super chat. Just because the chat's a little crowded right now. But Ray had a good question. Why would a universe creating being need or want worship from specks in the vastness of space? I think that's a good question. And the reason I wanted to grab this and bring it up is Dark Matter just made a video today, which was really interesting about the idea of a relationship with God and how it's essentially impossible. So I would suggest watching that. But he basically took the idea of ants compared to humans and said ants can't have a relationship with you because they can't comprehend you. And it's interesting because Christians even say you can't comprehend God the way an ant can't comprehend you. But then by that same logic, the ant can't have a relationship. It doesn't understand anything about you. You're this force of nature. It can't even begin to get its head around what you're like to the extent that it could know you or relate to you. Any fractional part of your intelligence it could understand isn't even beginning to be a summation of you. And then what do you care about it? What an ant thinks about you? Like how could that amount to a relationship? You could look after it and want the best for it. But so
Yeah.
anyway, that's a tangent, but his reminded me of that, and I would encourage you to go to watch that because it's one of those really interesting ones that I don't
I
know
I,
shed some new light on things.
I see a big Nick in the chat. Uh you know, given their Christian takes, I think they're a Christian. Big Nick, if you got a question for us, I see you talking shit as well, saying we're not answering anything, but if you got something for us, direct it towards us. Go for it. We'll see what you got. But we do need to eventually, now that the live stream is getting more popular, Zod, we do need to wrench some people to make sure that the
Yeah.
chat is going to be more regulated in the future, I think. But I had one here from someone who said, "Hello, folks. Sorry for the caps, but I'm broke, depressed, and unemployed, so I cannot donate." Can Yay, please tell me how you handle your relationship with your parents who put you in this damaging cult. And I think that's interesting. I don't know how comfortable Zod is going into his own personal life. I know I have my boundaries, but I will say this. When it comes to my family, I think my parents, full stop, are victims of a culture that they grew up in as well that taught them bad things about what the Bible says, what Christianity talks about in general. As of course, like anyone, when you get older, you become more responsible for your own decisions, and they definitely still make decisions that I disagree with. And I think that they're fully capable of not making. But I also recognize that just for myself, I mean, I lived the first 20, 21 years of my life as a Christian. And was I a bad person then? I mean, I definitely had bad takes. I had a bad worldview. I think it maybe led me to do some bad things, but like how much of that was in my control when I was going to church before the age of 1, Like when you get raised in an environment, it's hard to kind of differentiate between nature versus nurture at some point. So I have empathy for my family. I have a lot of respect for who they are, but I also strongly, strongly, strongly disagree with a lot of what they do, and it does cause a rift, and it's unfortunate. But I'd rather again stand up for myself and stand up for my principles and what I believe to be right than to just say, "Oh, we'll let bygones be bygones," because eventually there is going to be a head. There's going to be a conflict, that happens because of that, and no more am I going to just say, "Well, I guess I'm just going to go to church because." It's what the rest of the family does. Or I guess I'm gonna, say XYZ or do whatever because that's the tradition. It has to stop somewhere, and it's gonna stop with me. So there you go.
There's a lot of aspects to this, and I guess there are a couple peripheral things that you that could get mixed into this question and that you probably have to address. One is, like you said, some of the positions on social issues or positions that might affect how you act toward other people. How do you confront those? Some of them are going to be simply what the person inherited from their faith. And I think it depends on your relationship with a person and what you think their intentions are. But at some point, I think you do have to have some, show them some, I don't know, grace is the right word or whatever, for the fact that they're wrestling with what their faith is or what it dictates to them. Um, does the opinion they hold, does showing what we would take as the more humane opinion on that topic, say LGBTQ issues, would taking a progressive humane stance on that topic put them at a crossroads with their faith? I think they should definitely be on the right side of that issue, but is there room to be understanding that coming to a crisis of faith over an issue like that can be difficult and then need some time to work through that? It's kind of a gray area where you should be a little generous with them for the difficult position they're in versus expecting them to be a decent human and land on the right side of that issue. Some people can pay lip service to a topic, but still try to, in all practical measures, be decent toward people. And it's hard to know when they're doing things that reflect on their personal values and character versus trying to act out their faith. So a lot of that stuff can get really messy. But I think the core question I'm hearing here is, how do you relate to your parents in light of the fact that they put you in Chris got you into Christianity, what he labeled as a cult, I believe. I don't remember the exact wording. And for me personally, my parents were some of the more easygoing ones within our church environment. Some parents were really severe. I think my parents tried really hard to do the right thing as they understood it. So I think they landed squarely on the right side of that issue. And they were fairly progressive. They were like former hippies and stuff, and they were fairly progressive. And they did have us in church, and that, I don't think all that stuff was good, but I think they were doing the best they could. one side of this is, um, just as my parents had brought me into that environment, I had brought my kids into that environment for a period of time. So that gives me a measure of insight into the fact that you can do things that you later find regrettable. And, people who do that aren't trying to draw you into a cult. And sometimes they can be doing it as decent people. Christians, just like everybody else, are a big spectrum of people, and it's hard to lump them all in together. So all I can speak to is my parents. Some people have probably
Yeah.
had more malicious parents and more hardline parents and cared less for your personal well-being and had less of an intuition or concern for that. And that's a whole other ballgame. And I have to acknowledge that for sure. But for me, this doesn't give me many difficulties. And my parents have related to me pretty well, even after I've been public about being an atheist.
Yeah.
I don't go around showing them my videos, but
Yeah. Yeah. And I've told the story before, but I kept my stuff online hidden for at least 2 years, I think, before my
yeah,
parents even found out about it. And that was a really rough conversation. But I knew it was something that they couldn't handle. And now they know about it and they don't ask me about it, and that's okay. It's just kind of one of those things that we don't talk about. Because I know what I'm doing is ultimately, if it's not perfect, it's at least the right thing to do. In my mind, right? I have no, maybe I've said a thing or two not in the greatest way possible because pretty much everything I do is live. But I don't think I'm doing a bad thing. If anything, I think I have helped more people than I ever helped when I was a Christian. So I take solace in that, and that's what keeps me going. But we have another great super chat from Tommy Stewart, who gave $4.99, saying, "Can we drop the non-resistant part of the divine hiddenness argument? Can God not overcome resistance?" And Paul totally destroys it. Yeah, it's everything, like it's just an excuse for nothing happening, right? Like
yeah,
it's what it is. Like I was once told, I had a conversation when I was in college with another Christian that I said, why don't we see these things happening today, right? These things happen in the Bible and suddenly, they just don't happen today. And the argument they gave me was, do you think you're worthy of talking to God? And like, this dude was responsible for letting murderers kill people. So like, if Paul or Saul is worthy of it, what I'm not good enough? Like, why does this guy get it, not me, right? So and plus, if we're all supposed to be able to receive the Holy Spirit, why does it matter? Like, why are there still a special class of folks that just get the Holy Spirit a bit better, right? That's basically what the entire institution of the Catholic Church is built upon. But that's neither here nor there. It's dumb. It's stupid. What do you think, Zod?
yeah. I think non-resistant. I think for better or worse, you probably need it to just for rhetorical purposes, depending on the argument you're having with a Christian or an apologist. I don't care for it. Yeah, like, well, if we make the concession that you're just not trying to be shitty as a non-believer, or like that's kind of some of the built-in language that we find ourselves dealing with, and it might help you work your way through an argument. But I same thing as with having to put up with garbage from Christians and bow your head and be polite. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's there are obviously some ugly undertones to it, but I can see how it gets you through a conversation just by acknowledging something for the sake of argument.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just looking through the comments here. We got a lot of viewers right now. I was really worried, Zod, that because we were gonna be a little less specific tonight, that we were gonna drop in views compared, because we've been going like steadily up, and we have more now than we pretty much ever had. So
Yeah,
that's cool.
this is our highest total. We
Yeah,
were at 195 at our highest. That's the most we've
yeah.
had by like 45. So thank you,
Yeah,
everybody.
not to be numbers people, because I know that's annoying as a viewer, but it's like, we're looking at that to make sure people like what we're watching, right? Presumably more people watching means more people are interested. So I guess you guys really like this stuff, which is really cool. So shout outs to you guys. Um, in another super chat from Zach, who gave $2 and said, "You left Christianity so you can sin."
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Okay. What if I did? All right. Cool. Good for me, I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
you left a religion with specific doctrines that tell you what to do with your life for no reason other than that they're doctrines, and now you're not following them. Big deal. If it were any other religion, the Christian
y-
would see that of being no consequence.
yeah. It's kind of hard to be a Christian when you don't believe in God. Like, we
Yeah.
kind of have to get around that part first. Like, God has to kind of be real in order for me to even care about the whole sin thing, you know? It's a
Well,
moot point. It's stupid.
even on
Um,
the conceptual level, this is like the biggest dipshit idea that I could ever imagine. Like, oh yeah, I do think the Christian God exists, but I want to have a little bit of fun for a few years here and burn forever. Like that. Even if you were a purely self-interested person who didn't care about God and you did just want to sin, like I said before, I don't care to be on fire. So if I could just not sin or sin a little less or ask for forgiveness, you don't think I would do that if I had full knowledge that I was going to burn for eternity? It's just completely asinine. But even in my specific situation, I'm pretty sure I sin less than most Christians do in most traditional senses of the word. Like, I'm a monogamous married guy who lives at home, takes care of my family, goes to work. Aside from maybe being a little blasphemous here and there, what do I really do that's a sin? It's kind of silly.
yeah, that's another thing too. I do swear a lot, more than what Zod is usually comfortable with. And then also, I kind of talk shit about Christianity, like a lot. So I
Yeah.
guess I am blaspheming against the Holy Spirit, which is the unforgivable sin. So in some ways, we might be absolutely screwed, Zod, depending on your theology. Um, but besides that, I don't know. I'm not killing anybody. You're right. I'm kind of living life.
Oh
I,
no. Somebody
what?
banned Big Nick?
Oh, I put him in timeout. But I didn't ban him though.
It said he was banned, his comments removed. I don't care.
Yeah, I see
It
that.
sounded just like he sounded like a basic distraction.
He didn't
Uh,
really give us any questions, and he was more harassing other people in the chat, so
Yeah,
it's not a big loss
I
for
just
me.
caught it at a glance here and there, and it seemed like the typical you want a little attention, so you're bugging people. Uh, do you want? We've seen a lot of comments. We did have one person suggest a video. Do you want to watch it?
Yeah, if we got a video,
That's
they put it in the chat.
they'd given it to us in a reply to our community post.
Oh, community post. Okay, cool. Let's do that. Before we do have another super chat from Zach that we should read. $5, who said, "If God is real, I can repent to God every time I do something trans or gay and still go to heaven." what, 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 what do you mean when you do something trans or gay? What does that mean?
I
uh,
think they're just using funny phrasing for it, but I like it.
That's very funny. I like the idea of doing trans as like a verb.
Yeah. Oh boy, I did something very trans
Ah,
today.
I was
You don't even know.
that's really funny. Or adverb, I guess. Yeah.
You know,
Um,
if we talk about stuff like that, being trans or gay, whatever, I'm 100% on the side of all them. You know, I'm very. I just mean I'm an ally to all those people. Like I'm totally
when
behind
you
their right.
say I'm on the side of all them, that almost was that was interesting phrasing. So go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
it was. Okay, this is. Remember how you said that not everything you say is perfect because you're
Yeah.
live?
Yeah.
That just rolled off my tongue a little
Yeah.
funny. I'm on your side. I'm behind you. I stand by your right to be who you are and affirm you and everything. That's what I mean. Uh, but I'm like a basic. I'm basically the most basic straight married guy that you're gonna meet. So, like in terms of this, did you uh, give up your religion because you wanted to sin? Like, why would I give up my religion because I didn't want to do most of those things, but then affirm other people? Like, if the sin is an act of compassion toward people, then yeah, I left your religion so that I could be a little more compassionate to people. Is that what you mean by sin? And if it is, that's kind of weird, and also maybe reflects on you and your character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. I have to have a sense, like, if my sense of morality doesn't agree with God's, then, like, what's the point? Almost like, why? First of all, why wouldn't it? But second of all, why would I want to do something I don't feel good about doing? Like, if I became a Christian tomorrow and I just decided, yeah, being gay is a sin. First of all, how terrible would that be for all the people who are gay in my life? But also, why? Why would I suddenly decide to discriminate against other people and their lifestyles because God says so? Why do I care? Why does that matter? There's just like a lot of legwork that has to be done. It doesn't really, just because God's real doesn't mean that all of morality is suddenly aligned to what he wants either, right? There's still, some stuff that has to be done there. But let's watch your thing, Zod.
But real quick, Zod is a 10 on the pH scale because he is basic.
Damn. But someone says you're based, so you might be a base
cool.
instead of an acid. I think bases are lower than 7, and acids are higher. So on the pH scale.
Yeah, if you knew me in real life, I'm about the most, like, there's not a lot to me as terms of anything weird or anything other than I do YouTube. Like, I hang out with my family, I go to work, and I do YouTube. So that's me. All right. This is, you may have seen a version of this, but this is just like weird in a, I don't know, not in a bad, like Brad Stein way, but like in a, oops.
I would, I wouldn't be opposed to us watching a quick Stein short,
Yeah, except I just want to, we're down to half hour and I want to do justice to people who have submitted us questions.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Let's do it.
This is, let me see if it's still there. Tell me if you hear volume.
I can definitely hear it.
You can?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Dave Titus. I'm a
Chat,
storyteller.
can you hear it in the volume?
I'm a Christian.
Chat, can you
That
hear the
means
volume?
I've accepted Christ as my Lord and Savior.
You can't hear it because I can.
I guess there are only 3 ways to tell people.
Well, howdy doody. What's going on?
We've had this issue before.
Okay, let me try something else.
About God, by example, by example, by example. But one of the ways he's given me is to use a piece of string, just a simple piece of string.
Oh, no.
If you could get connected with God.
This is how you can hang your victims.
It makes the world.
Well, that's right. Take him out to my workshop. Big. What's going on here? What's happening?
But I'm not perfect, and I'm going to mess up sometimes. But when I do, I'll ask for forgiveness.
What?
And because of Jesus,
what?
I'm free.
Oh my God!
And he took that figure and he said,
"Oh my God! Pause this video. Pause this video. This went from Buffalo Bill to fucking Chris Angel. What the fuck?"
And now he made like a rope penis or something?
Yeah, what's happening? What is that? That looks inappropriate. Whatever that is.
He'll tell you.
Okay.
He strikes me as someone who's not allowed around schools anymore, though.
Yeah, you think? You think so, son?
Hey,
I think he's not around at at most public places. I don't know.
I'm gonna pretend choke myself and then show you a rope penis I made. Okay, let's go. We're being all
and he says, and Dave, did you know that you could have Jesus on the cross?
What?
Isn't that awesome?
No. Oh my God,
yes,
dude,
Jesus
that smile.
Christ. I've heard of him.
Did you know that you could have Jesus hanging from a tree?
Did you know you can have a dead man hanging from your hands?
you know how in ancient times the Romans would hang someone up on a tree and then leave them there to rot while the birds pecked at them? Here, kids, look at that.
You guys want to reenact violence on your fingertips using all you need is a long piece of string.
Looks like an IUD.
It does. It looks like something you shove into it. It doesn't look safe for work. It doesn't look good. Jeez.
Where has that string been? Jesus was well.
What is this video? Bro, someone pointed out too, he got the WWJD bracelet on too. Like,
oh yeah.
You know, this gotta be 90s, a 90s classic right here. That's awesome. Well, keep it going.
This is Jesus in agony. And here's Jesus in death.
And here's your mother hanging from. Here's your mother in an electric chair for the next one.
He looks like he's trying to find something, and I won't describe it further than
that. Here's your dad with a head on a spike.
Here's Jesus in agony.
Yeah,
now he's dead.
Now he's dead.
Brian Stevens, it's dark-sided.
I don't know what that means, but
I'm not sure either.
I appreciate the donation. Thank you for the $2.
Brian, feel free to let us know, and
yeah, please let us know what that means.
You don't have to do another super chat. We'll try to find you.
Yeah.
Here's the church. Here's the steeple. That's definitely what this reminds me of.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
But not to worry, because he's no longer on the cross.
Bro.
Amen.
Looks like he disemboweled him.
Dude, this guy got so much attention from ladies at parties with this. Dude, this dude was just, I mean, prom king material right here, right? This guy, the spice on this man, it's worth emulating, you know?
And just look at the look on his face. Like he looks very satisfied. You know, this must be a product of its time, because this sounds like the kind of thing that worked when kids were like super bored and sitting on the floor of church.
Yeah.
And like all they listened to was a pastor just dryly carrying on about nothing. And so like any little trick you showed them, hey kids, and they're like,
hey, check this out. Want to see what else I can do with this string?
This kind of act would not survive a post VeggieTales
might be
world.
Perfect, but I sure
like
ain't.
VeggieTales taught kids that you could actually be entertained by Christian stuff, and this guy went the way of the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
Jacob's ladder, or Jacob had a dream of angels going up and down from heaven to earth. He was sleeping in the desert.
Bro, I swear to God, I got the same exact background on my Windows computer. What's going on?
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it.
Whoa.
No.
What's he doing? Zod, what's he doing?
What was that?
It's impossible. But with God, all things are possible.
Stop. This isn't real. We're being punked. This is fake. There's no way. There's no way. Stop. We're being trolled. There's no way this is real. What the fuck? What was that?
So you think this is like my rhymes are fly, my beats are sick?
Yeah. This is some Eric Andre show bullshit. There's no way. I refuse. There's no way. That was incredible. I'm flabbergasted. I don't know what to say.
This has some Ray Comfort and the Banana vibes to it.
It does. It has a lot of vibes to it, and none of them are good.
He choked himself. He just did what he did there. I'm pretty sure he was finding the clit at some point.
He was, Why did he go from I'm going to kill myself on camera right now to whoop, and then here's simulated sex, by the way? Like, what? There's so much happening in like 5 seconds. It was insane. I never seen anything like it. Real quick, Jay Victor, $20 with an R in front of it though. I don't know what that means. Does that mean it's pirate money? Could be. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Paul was persecuting Christians when Jesus appeared to him. Moses was minding his own business when he got his call. Jonah actively tried to run away from God. Apparently, God has no trouble reaching people when he wants to. Yeah, absolutely. Like, and plus he's God. He could just do it, right? So it doesn't make sense. Why doesn't he just make it more clear? Is it really that hard? I don't know. But
you know what?
Yeah.
In fairness, Paul persecuted Christians. Jonah tried to run away from God, but they weren't atheists.
Right.
So that,
Right. That makes sense. Zach W. Parker says this belongs on the Syndex somewhere, and I agree. Bring back the Syndex just for this. We do a whole episode on the Syndex just for every 5 seconds of this video. What's happening here? All right.
All right. You want to finish this guy off?
Yeah, I
Awesome.
think so. I don't know if I'm ready.
He said, you can do this.
That's the same trick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thanks so much for your time. Thanks for watching. And please share this. Thank you.
If you have a string
wait.
testimony you'd like to share with Mr. Titus and
Shut
others,
up.
please
Wait.
visit our website at www.stringministries.org so we can get it posted. Thank you.
Oh, no. What do you mean, stringministries.org? What do you mean? Oh, God.
I have a VPN, but I'm still not sure I feel 100% safe going to www.stringministries.org.
I'm going to be put on a government watch list. I'm still going to look it up anyway. Stringministries.org. So, in this economy, you got to hustle. You got to find your niche. All right? I get it. Especially in like the 90s or whatever, or early 2000s. God, somebody paid a web designer to make, stringministries.org. That's amazing. Oh, it's unavailable. 503 service unavailable. It's not there anymore. Wayback Machine, baby. Let's go.
All right. I want to try to blow through a few more questions. You good for that?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the internet archive of this thing if I can, but keep it up. I will respond accordingly.
We had a Zach Reed say, is there something about monotheistic religion that made it outlast most of the polytheistic religions? Or is it more about the Abrahamic religions getting power at the right time and place? I think that's a complicated question. I don't really know. I think a lot of historical, I don't know if accidents is the right word, but Christianity did happen to be in the right place at the right time. It got snagged up by the right people. And then I think it sailed a long way on the winds of like being official state religions. I think if there is one thing about monotheistic religions, I think a lot of them tend to come about by consolidating consolidating the powers or characteristics of a lot of other gods. And so I think maybe monotheistic religions have an element of cultural domination to them that makes them kind of rise to the top, but I'm not speaking as any kind of expert on that.
Yeah, you have to go back into like Jewish history too, and there's a lot of back and forth between the different sort of Semitic tribes and stuff before things kind of settled into like a more standardized identity. And I guess it makes more sense to have a standardized identity under one god versus regional variants of gods. But then again, there's also been world powers that don't adhere to that at all. Like, I mean, Japan had no problem with that, with Shintoism. China has a history with the Mongols of being shamanistic with several different deities. So I think the idea that we privilege a one god as being sort of an example of developed culture is a little bit of a Western idea mostly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of depends. I don't know if you could point to one single thing,
Yeah.
Oh, somebody said the R is the Brazilian real. So
Nice.
thank you. Now I know. That was an amazing video. I'm not over that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't find anything though.
We didn't get any links, but that one, maybe they can't give us links. I'm not sure if you can put links in comments, so maybe that was a bad idea to ask for.
Yeah.
One question. I would love to hear more about Hitchens' razor. What can be asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. So far, I've always heard it asserted without evidence. So should I dismiss it?
I found it.
Yeah.
I found the website. Found the
Go
website.
ahead.
Do you want to see this thing?
All right.
Sorry.
Dan found something more compelling.
Sorry, we interrupt this broadcast to give you. All right, I'm going to show you this. I thought Wayback Machine didn't have things of it. It does. And I'm going to show you this page. I'm not going to tell you what year this is. I want you to guess. Oh no, I'm sharing the wrong page. Let me go back. Let's see. Present, share screen, hit share screen again. Come on. Here it is. Okay. Boom. We seeing this?
Oh.
Yeah. Warning. Children shouldn't be worn. That string can choke if placed around the neck. Yeah. When like half of your bit is like putting strings around your neck, I guess you got to put that on your website. That's awesome.
That reminds me of I watched John Oliver today, and he talked about how this guy put a plastic bag over his head, and you shouldn't do that because kids will see you do it. That's exactly what this guy's doing with a string.
Yeah. I darn it, I should have put this away. But yeah, this captures from 2011, right here. Look at these pictures.
That's 2011.
This is 2011.
Wow.
Oh, he's in Nepal. Oh, he went to Nepal. Bro, who's giving money to this? He's charged $9.95 for the DVD. Sharing with string. That's crazy. It's a not-for-profit organization. He's leprosy.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well,
that doesn't, and that's the picture he chooses to sit there and pose with. That's like weird.
That's like, what is this, by the way? What is this? Hello? Can we talk about what is this? He looks like it's like Dexter, like he's putting on the glove to like. This is a string he uses for his victims, spreading the gospel message through string. That's awesome. That's the thing. Wow.
That reminds me of. Did you ever see the Wordless book when you were younger?
The Wordless book?
Yeah.
No. What is that?
Let me see. It's basically pages of colors. Let me see if I can find it. How to explain salvation using the Wordless book. Yeah, so it's just a book. It's just a book with blank pages of just colors. And so you show kids each color. And so black is the sinful state of humanity by nature. Red is the blood of Jesus. So Jesus washes it away. White is the righteousness, so on and so forth. I think yellow is gold, so you're in heaven or something like that.
What?
You've never heard of that, huh?
No.
Maybe
this is a book that has no words?
Yeah. Here, let me.
You just gave me a lot of words, though.
No, so the book doesn't have the words in them, but you show kids the pages.
Oh, wait, you just show kids colored pages? And then you explain to them?
And then you explain it to them.
Oh, what a con. Man.
So so basically it's like pieces of construction paper stapled together. Okay. So you show one, this page is black, you're sinful, but this page is red, Jesus atoned for it. This page is white, now you're righteous. Blue is baptism.
Now you're righteous. Okay.
Blue is baptism. Green is growth, and yellow is heaven.
And the red represents the blood of the patriots that died for this country. The white represents the white man's burden that we have to carry since it's time.
Yeah. Brown is the bullshit we're led to believe.
Yeah, it sounds dumb. That doesn't sound like a good book.
This page is a rainbow. Now you look at your friend Timmy in a funny way.
Yeah.
But can you see the connection though? You give these little illustrations.
Very simple. Yeah. I found this is an 07 capture, and I don't know if this is an error on the captures part, but it's funny because it looks like it's pretty much the exact same page, except there's like no text and it's only pictures. So this picture is even more menacing. You know, like if you saw this out of context, I would not think good thoughts. I would think this guy is in Freemasonry, but like the bad kind. Like this dude's in a secret society and he's going to murder me with that knot. Like that's, I don't know what's happening here. But String Ministries, boy, that made my night. I'm so glad I watched that.
It was fun to watch you enjoy it. So, Google String Figure Story. They have the DVDs.
String Figure Store. AR with $2. String Figure Store. Oh, for the ministry.
You know, it would be fun. It would be fun to play edit his video so that it plays to like relaxed, low-key porn music.
What do you mean low-key, relaxed, low-key porn music? What porn are you listening to or watching? Look at this. We got the String Figure Store. And look, we've got African string figures, Native Alaskan string figures, Zod, and Native American string figures. Somehow.
And I am positive that at no time they tripped over any cultural insensitivity.
At no time were any of the products created here culturally insensitive. Why is this $126?
What the hell?
What? On sale too. It was $215 before that. Oh, it's 36 books? What? How do you make 36 books on Native Alaskan string figures? Is there that much racism to cover? What is the scope of this project?
I wonder which Native Alaskan tribes were involved in authoring this book.
Yeah. Yeah. Which cultural experts did they consult on this?
They are committed to quality.
Yeah. They're here to help. Let's send them a message. This is from Zidanza. Should we put the show email?
Is there a DVD about how to make the rope penis?
Is there a DVD on how to make the rope? Can we type penis? Penis is a medical term. I think I can type that. How about the rope quote genitalia? There we go.
Or what about the one with a guy rotting up on a tree?
Yeah.
Do you have that one?
Or the guy rotting up on the tree, comma, do you have that one? Okay. What do we put as our email? Should we do Elon@musk.com?
Sure.
Or maybe Jack at Twitter? That one's not around anymore. Brad Stein at gmail.com.
My wife saw your videos and she's wondering if I'll be into it.
Send. You wanted me to add more. Okay, I sent in an inquiry. Hopefully Brad Stein can get back to us on that. Unless I might have just accidentally trolled just a regular dude named Brad Stein who happened to have a Gmail. So sorry about that. But it's already there. We sent in our inquiry.
That's too darn bad.
Yeah.
It's a darn shame.
That's a shame. It's a real shame. Man. It's 10:20. Can we watch one Stein video, Zod, please?
Let's see what we can find here. Yeah, let's see what we can find.
I just want one short one. One good short one. I got it in me.
That's what she said.
Ho ho ho.
Oh, did you get it though? Did you understand what I did?
I understood it. I understood it. Yeah. Yeah. The string guy taught me that. So now I know.
Okay.
Thanks.
Let me see if I can find. I'm going to do a Daily Brad.
Yes. Give me the Daily Brad. We should have maybe that should be a recurring segment. We need the Daily Brad. Just a quick 5-minute, refresher on what's Brad Stein thinking about today.
Hang on 1 second.
Okay. He's cooking, folks.
All right. I gotta find a good one.
Okay. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for indulging me. Dan, Shiver said Dan is testing his new blood pressure medicine. I don't know who the he is. I'm assuming that's Zod.
What's that?
Shiver said Dan is testing his new blood pressure medicine. Unless you mean me. I don't know who that's referring to. Who is the object of that sentence or subject?
All right.
Object?
Do you want to watch Brad Stein talk about marriage?
Oh, yeah. Do this one. This one's stupid. Also, it tells on himself a lot. Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to get my screen adjusted.
Shiver said, you meant me. Why are we talking about blood pressure medication? I don't understand. I don't get the joke. I'm sorry.
Hey,
here we go.
God's comic, Brad Stein. This
God's comic.
Brad, it's funny.
Bro, he's still. I'm sorry. Can you go back? Can you go back? Can we start over again? I was talking. He still thinks he's God's comic. He still thinks he's that guy. On May 14th, 2024, he thinks he's that guy. That's
over
awesome.
them mountains.
Over them mountains, dude.
He's still living out his
quarter-mile
glory days.
Could have thrown the pigskin a quarter mile. Would have seen it over the mountains.
He looks pretty old. I don't see him running around the stage going, "Oh, unicorns!"
My brother in Christ, you are not God's comic. Okay? Don't call yourself that. It's self-indulgent. It's also wrong.
Yeah.
Please. You're offending Christians by saying that. Don't do that. Okay, sorry. I had to get that out of my system.
Hey, America. It's me, God's comic, Brad Stein. This is your Daily Brad. It's funny. I started to read the Bible in a year. I've done it once before, but I'm doing it again this year. You get the app, so it is helpful because they break it down for you, and you don't just go chronologically. Okay? Like they'll throw in some psalm, the way you're made, the way you're created, your desire, sexual.
Whoa! Go back.
Is interesting.
Wait a minute. What's happening? What's going on?
Let's check it out.
Okay. About the world that we live in now. When the progressive heresies began to overtake the church, probably throughout history, but I'm just talking about referencing the United States, since this is.
I'm just talking about what I saw on Twitter yesterday.
So much is about sexuality. So much is about how people desire sexual fulfillment, and then go beyond the sexual act, which is a beautiful, sacred, holy act that God gives to us. And it's so sacred, and it's so special, and it's so beautiful, and it's so amazing, and it's so robust, and it's so enticing, and it is so
pause this.
Invigorating.
Pause this. Wait, I have not seen this one. This is not what you see before. This is so fucking funny, Zod. He's like, I'm so tired of them talking about sexuality, because sex is just, it's amazing. It's wonderful. It's the best thing ever you could do in your life.
It's invigorating.
Why does he tell on himself so hard? Why? He cannot see the irony. He can't. He doesn't have the power of self-reflection. That's incredible. Incredible. God, Brad Stein. Amazing. A gift that keeps on giving. I can't believe it. You know what? I'll say this, Zod.
Couple that have indulged.
My outside of, the circles that we talk about, like when it's appropriate, when we talk about LGBT issues and stuff, right? Like sex and stuff like comes up, right? In my real life outside of this, with my gay friends, you know how much we talk about sex? Fucking never. Because that's kind of weird. Like to talk about, I was just doing I mean, not to shame anybody, right? If that's the kind of relationship you have with people, that's fine. But that's not what most people do, right? Like Brad Stein just lives in this other world where gay people just talk about having gay sex just every day in public and in their workplace and stuff. It's really wild.
He sounds sexually frustrated, according to Silverbow's super chat.
He might.
All right.
He might. Anyway, I gave my commentaries on.
In this great and amazing gift God has given to us, knows how wonderful and just incredibly awe-inspiring sex is. And it's supposed to be. God said it's to procreate. It is so fascinating, so amazing, so unbelievably miraculous that not only will you find yourself connecting to this other in an intimate way, unlike any other way that can be done. It can't get more intimate. But
he sounds like he's trying to have he's really awkwardly trying to have the talk with his kid.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
He's like, I had sex 30 years ago and it was amazing. I never forgot that moment. I've been searching for that high ever since. Comedy was just a way to get me laid sooner.
With my wife only, though.
With my wife only.
It's like a miracle takes place. A spark is ignited. A human can be created. And so here we sit
and one of those
people who desire that sexual experience and are tempted by it. And why wouldn't you be? Temptations work because the temptation is amazing. People aren't alcoholics because they hate alcohol. They hate it because they like the effects of alcohol. They like the effects of meth. They like the effects of cocaine. They like heroin. They like sex. It feels great. It always has a terrible reward. The backside of drug addiction is death and loss of dignity in life. So it always comes with a terrible price that can never live up to the demand and the desire that got you there in the first place. And sex is in that same realm. When sex is indulged in simply for its own.
Sex is like drugs because it feels good. But
sex is like a heroin addiction. Yeah. What do you mean? What are you talking about? I guess he means hell. Like, I guess he must mean like, oh, you get punished for doing it, right? Because like
he probably rolls over in shame and cries afterward every time.
Yeah. Sex is
okay. There's just one point we got to get to here. I'll let him get to
pleasure.
Okay.
It's not enough. It doesn't fulfill. It doesn't complete you because it was out of order. And God is a God of order. So when you marry someone,
the important thing about sex is you have to have order.
Bed, you are allowed to show your love and commitment to each other in this amazing physical way, which also is spiritual because he says you become one. Then it's to be indulged and to be enjoyed and to be engaged in as much as you want. That's the great reward for enduring your marriage.
Oh,
and getting through the difficulties of your marriage, and they are someone. And in the marriage bed, you are allowed to show your love and commitment to each other in this amazing physical way, which also is spiritual because he says you become one. Then it's to be indulged and to be enjoyed and to be engaged in as much as you want. That's the great reward for enduring your marriage and getting through.
Yeah.
That's my favorite line.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah, I remember seeing that part. No, something he said there too, he says, "Oh, you can indulge in it and do it whenever you want." Really? Yeah. I thought you just said it was for procreation. Wait, if you're indulging and doing it whenever you want, why the fuck can other people do that? Wait, what do you mean? What?
Well, he says you can indulge in it and all that stuff once you're married. So
once you're married,
yeah.
Okay.
So sex.
It sounds just as hedonistic when he puts it that way. But
that's like the most Christian teenager way of thinking about sex, though. Like,
yeah.
You can do it when you're married. And then once you're married, that's just what you're going to do is have sex all you want.
Yeah.
And I love how he says that's your reward for putting up with marriage. And during marriage is the way.
Yeah, that's your reward. Christ. I
put up with my wife so I can get laid. Brad Stein.
Bro, who married this guy? Who married this guy? That's crazy. Imagine looking at him and being like, yep, he's the one. That's it. Hitching my wagon to this boat. What? That's crazy. Awesome.
Oh, dear me. All right. Well,
the gift that keeps on giving. Brad Stein, ladies and gentlemen. Brad Stein. So worth it. Folks, thanks for watching tonight. This was good. Definitely a bit more relaxed than our typical more focused streams, but I enjoyed the hell out of it. I had a great time.
The first rule of YouTube is the less money, or not less money, the less effort you put into a video, the more views it gets.
Yeah.
You work your butt off for one you're really proud of and nobody watches it, and then you do a thing off the cuff and it takes off. So hey.
Yeah. Shout outs to folks who donated tonight. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the channel. If you haven't, please do. And then notifications, as always, so that you can watch this live. If you're not watching this live and you're watching this later, watch it live sometime. It's fun. Comments are popping off. People saying all kinds of stuff. It's a good time. So check it out. And leave a comment below what you thought about tonight's stream. Do you want us to do more of this kind of stream, or do you like it when we're a bit more focused on different topics? Tell us what you like, what you didn't like, because that helps us figure out what makes good content. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for tonight, Zod. What do you think?
I think we're good to go. Yep. I do apologize. The end credits thing is going to be the same dance sequence from last week. I didn't have time to find a new one this week, so sorry, but I'll work on it next time. That's
okay. Thanks, Zod, and thanks to you, viewers at home. What's our sign-off message for tonight? Real quick, super chat, LHRPG official, $5. Thank you, Zod and Dan, for everything you do. Thank you, LHRPG official, for donating. You definitely did not have to, but you did it, so that's very nice of you.
Okay, here's our closing thought for the stream.
Yeah.
See these earbuds?
Yeah.
You take them.
No.
I think I did it. I think I did it wrong. Let me try again.
No, turn it off. Shut it down. Shut it down. Get it away. Go.
All right, good night, everybody.
Voy a cantar esta canción con mucho cariño de mi corazón a la República Dominicana, la casa del merengue y la casa de la bachata. Voy a cantar esta canción con mucho cariño de mi corazón a la República Dominicana, la casa del merengue y la casa de la bachata. La 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 la, la casa del merengue. La 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 la, y la casa de la bachata. Música, 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 te traigo música, 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 música de la República.